Do you ever wonder why your favorite, most anticipated artists aren't dropping their music right now or holding it off till sometime next year or when shit gets better in the world? Well, that's due to one simple word, and I'm going to tell you right here with no further wait, Brian. That's money. Artists and rappers make most of their money due to touring and special guest appearances like clubs or talk shows. And since there's a big ass pandemic going on, halting that progress and halting the shows and touring and concerts are put on hold for right now until shit gets better. But how come these artists don't make a profit off of music that they made that gets millions and millions of streams, thousands of records sold? That's because most of these artists are backed and signed to what's called a record label. A record label is a music corporation that sells music, basically. So they find whoever's popping or whoever has the talent that can potentially make a hit, which they get money from, and sell albums in the future. They sign these artists. They put a lot of money behind these artists, for promotion, for touring, for, studio time, for album budgets. They put all that money out there. They pay for billboards. They pay for radio, put their songs on the radio. These record labels put a lot of money behind these artists to get them seen in front of me and you and the mainstream audience out here. And once they get seen, that pushes record sales. If the audience like this person, that pushes record sales and it makes their song go big, which generates lots and lots of money. So now you know what a record deal is. Why are they making money? Like why aren't the record deal and artists making money? Well, the artist works for the record label. The record label don't work for the artist. So let's say an artist is popping off with a song that everybody's blasting right now, but they're unsigned at the moment. They're a new artist that people are finally turning their heads to. So they approach this artist and they hash out a contract. Do these artists read these contracts? Hell no, bro. They go to label looking for the biggest advance. Now, what is an advance? Well, an advance is basically a loan that the label gives you to basically sign you and own you. Like it's a bunch of money they give your ass to get your name and to get your music and make money off that shit. So most of the artists are dumb as fuck and don't read their damn contracts and they just look for the biggest advance. But I mean, advances vary, you know what I'm saying, depending on how hot you are. It could be from 50K to 500K to $1 million to $2 million to $3 million, depending on how hot you are and what your projected longevity is looking like in the future. So the artist signs the contract and they get that advance, that loan. But here's the thing. Once you sign that contract and get that loan, that's not it, bro. You just time putting in that work because you owe that money back to the label. You got to pay that shit back. Not out of pocket, but by your music sales. And not only do they give you, let's say, a $2 million advance, after they give you that advance, they still got to put money behind you to get you seen in the mainstream. So basically what record labels do is pay for your touring. They get you a team. They get you lawyers. They put you on guest TV talk shows. They get you club appearances. They put your advertising on billboards, on commercials, on the radio. They basically put you out into the mainstream due to their connections with the mainstream. So that's more than $2 million that they're investing into you. And you got to make all that shit back. So until you make that shit back, you are not getting paid for the hard work that you put in crafting your music until you make back that loan they gave you and profit. And then that's when you start getting paid. And even when you do make back, if, you create another hit or get those album sales to generate that money back to the label, and then they make a profit off that, they still take 80% of your music and you get 20% after album after album after album. So that's why artists don't really make money off their music. They get money off their music, but not enough to support the lifestyle that they have now been gifted with money like from that advance that they've got. So they make the bulk of their money with touring and guest appearances. So of course you're out there, you're performing and you're doing your thing. You get, let's say, 100K a show. But then again, you got to pay, of course, the label gets a cut. The team that's there with you, who's, set up the music, they bring out the instruments, the team that comes with you on the tour bus, they got to get a cut. The venue got to get a cut, and then the rest of the money that's there is left for you. Now, multiply that by 50 shows a tour. That's a pretty good profit, man. Everybody getting paid, everybody eating. So they make a bulk of their money off of touring, and the label gets a small percentage of that. But when it comes to music sales and hits, that comes from streaming, because back in the day, they both got to eat because people are actually buying music now. It's really hard. It's even really hard for a label to make money off music now. So that's why that they dig into other avenues in your career. Back then, the label used to just make money off of your music and the touring, the special guests, the performances, and all that shit, special appearances and shit. All that money was yours. They took nothing from special guests, touring, and performances. All that shit was you and your teams. They just profited off the music. But now, with streaming being the number one way people consume music, there's not a lot of money in that, man. There's really not a lot of money in streaming. But the money that comes with streaming, the label pretty much takes all that shit. And they can't really profit off that. They can't really run and operate off that much money. So they got to dig into other avenues in your career. So now they take money off your touring. They take money off your appearances. They take money off of sponsor deals and all that shit, bro. They taking money everywhere because they got to eat too. And they got to eat first. Label owns your ass. They working for you. But that's another video for another day. Artists really don't make money off of their music because the label takes pretty much all that shit. 80% of the music that gets released and that's sold due to streaming or album sales, they take majority of that, leaving touring to the artist. Artists take majority of the touring and performances and the money they get from touring and ticket sales. But label don't really have a hand in that, but they do get paid from that also, plus the teams and everything around it. But I hope you got an understanding of how these artists aren't making money off of their music alone, and why some of your artists are dropping because they can't tour. They can't tour, which means they're not making as much money off their music alone. So hope y'all enjoyed this, man. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share. Check out my other videos. I appreciate y'all watching. I really do. And I'll see you guys on my next freaking video, dog. I'm out.